All right, welcome to another training video where hopefully you get to learn some more about cryptocurrency and smart contracts and really kind of how they work. So if you've been watching any of my training videos on cryptocurrency already, you may be already familiar with our project that we have going on, which is the Mew Project, that contains a lot of different components already that we've already created training videos about. This is learning ground. It's a real crypto project. It's literally MewCoin, and the Mew Project is one of the most transparent projects out there that's actually built for the people to be a crypto project for them and to be open and transparent, and also help people just understand in depth about cryptocurrency and what it is and how it works. So if you've been following, then maybe you know some about the Mew ecosystem already. If not, we've already created several training videos on YouTube that you can go in and watch. This video is essentially a follow-up video to this last training video that we actually just created. And in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be actually showing you how you can interact with smart contracts. And the smart contracts I'm going to show you how to interact with are going to be these smart contracts that we actually just launched in this last training video. So in this last training video, we went in and created two different smart contracts and essentially launched them to the blockchain. So we created this smart contract right here, which is a smart contract called Tier 5 LTD sale. So let's go ahead and actually open up that smart contract. Whenever we open up this contract, you can see that this contract is verified. And what that means that the smart contract is verified is that you can literally go, and since the contract is verified, you can look at the source code. So now, this is actually a really great thing if you understand programming. Now, if you don't understand programming, then it doesn't really help you so much to go in and actually look at the code of a contract, because you're not going to fucking understand it because you don't actually understand code. But it can give you some peace of mind that even if you can't understand the code and you can't make sense of what it means, you could go in and learn it, and once you learned it, then you could understand everything about that actual project. But if you can't understand code, it can at least give you some peace of mind and some assurance that the creator of that contract and the creator of that project was open and transparent enough where they have showed you the exact source code that actually makes up that smart contract. Now, if you're a little lost right now and you're thinking, what the fuck is a smart contract? I would really encourage you to go back to previous training videos and look at the training video that talks about what a smart contract is and really defines and gives you an in-depth understanding about smart contracts. But to give you a gist and just kind of like a really, really high-level overview, a smart contract is literally just code. So it is code that is called immutable code, and what that means is it's code that's written, and once it's written and deployed, it cannot be changed. So there is no way to essentially change the code anymore. Well, I'm saying that there's no way, okay? So I'm saying that there's no way for the code to be changed, and that's not entirely true. So I want to take a moment and just to let you know that that's not entirely true. So now you would be able to understand, if you could understand programming and you could understand code and you can go actually look at the code, you would be able to understand, is it mutable or is it not mutable? And so this is a little bit hard to explain if you're not an engineer and you don't understand engineering concepts, but I want to tell you that any smart contract, the code for that smart contract is completely immutable, meaning that once it's written and deployed, like once I write and deploy this code, it cannot be changed whatsoever. It is immutable, okay? So it can't be changed. But the reason I said that that's not 100% true is there is a way to develop your smart contract and launch code where the code itself is immutable, but at the same time, it can be changed. So I want to show you a little bit example of that because, again, and we're going to get on with the training to show you, what some of you maybe came here for, to find out how you can literally get any offer that I have. You can buy literally anything that I sell for a huge discount, make one single payment, and have it for life, and get a huge discount. That's really what this training is about, and you're going to learn how to interact with these smart contracts to do that. But I want to make sure that you're also learning core fundamentals about the blockchain, because the more educated you are, the more powerful you become, and that will actually just help you in your cryptocurrency journey to make sure you don't get scammed. And if you're trying to get rich and make money from cryptocurrency, the more educated that you are, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to do that. So to show you what I mean here, I'm just going to basically make a little diagram. And let's say this is my smart contract. Okay. So this is my smart contract here. And again, smart contract is just a computer program that's immutable. It cannot be changed, that's launched in the blockchain. All right? So once I actually create this smart contract and I write the code for it and I send it to the blockchain, I can never change that code. So here's a smart contract right here. It's been verified. You can see the contract. You can see the code. There's no way for me to ever actually change this code. But there is a software engineering design principle, and there is a way to develop smart contracts where they become pseudo-mutable, which means that they can essentially somewhat be changed. And how you do that is you create a secondary smart contract, and that smart contract is essentially a proxy. So what that means is you launch a smart contract, and this smart contract essentially has, let's say, some variable, and that variable is another smart contract's address, which is your proxy, okay? So now what you can do is you can write the core logic inside your proxy. So let's say we want to, inside our smart contract, again, it's just code, so if you look inside this code for this smart contract, part of what you'll find in here are what are called functions. So if you're familiar with programming, you're probably familiar with functions, all right? So here, you can actually look, since this contract is verified, and you can actually see the source code, you can see the function. Here's a function right here. It's called update deal ends. And if I look over here, then I can actually I can interact with that function, and I can put in some value here, and I can hit this write button, and I can send data. I can call that function on the smart contract, and what will happen whenever I do that? Well, what will happen whenever I do that is this function that I just showed you will actually be called. So it will call this function right here. You can see this says update deal ends. It needs one input, which is integer that is called new date. And how do I interact with that function and call that function? I can just basically give that integer, new date, I can give that value, I can hit write, and it will essentially call this function inside this contract, and boom, it's done. All right, so there's that function. So I could essentially now in here create some function that's called function A, and inside function A, I can just say call proxy function A. Okay, so now I have a smart contract, and inside that smart contract, I have a function called function A, and all that function is going to do is it knows that I have another smart contract that's my proxy that also has a function called function A, and it's going to call that function. Okay, so now inside here, what I can do is I can create another function called change proxy, and I can give it some address for the proxy, and I can go in, and I can create a new proxy. I can call this, and this is going to have another function A, and I can change this function A to do whatever I want. I can say, give me 100. Over here in this function A, I can say, give me 10. Okay? And now maybe I don't want people to give me 10 anymore. I want them to actually give me 100. So I can create this new proxy contract. I can create function A, and I can say, hey, you have to give me 100. And then I can come over to this smart contract. I can call this function called change proxy address, and I can change this proxy address where it no longer looks at this proxy. It now actually looks at this proxy, And now anytime I call function A, instead of doing give me 100, that was specified in my first proxy, it is now doing give me 100 that was specified in my second proxy. So again, the only reason I'm telling you this is so that you understand that even though smart contracts are immutable, and once you write the code and once you deploy the code to the blockchain, that code can no longer ever be changed. There is a way, if you design your contracts right, there is a way where you can technically update and change what's actually happening inside the contract, because nothing's ever actually changed over here. It's all the same code. All you did was say, okay, hey, you used to have some proxy address, now you have a new proxy address, and whenever you want to call a function A, you're actually just calling the function A in the proxy contract, but now I've given you a new proxy, and there's a completely new function A inside there, so the function A that used to exist, it doesn't exist anymore. All right, so I just want you to know that, because I want you to understand that even though these things are put in the blockchain, if you don't have enough information and you don't understand enough, there are ways to go in and actually completely change how projects are actually working. All right? So anyways, we really deviated from the training on that. But what we're going to do is we're going to go in now and we're going to show you how to actually interact with smart contracts. And what we're going to be showing you in this interaction is a live practical example, and we're going to be showing you how you can buy literally any software or any offer that I have for a discounted one-time fee using this Tier 5 LTD contract here. All right? So now again, if you watch this video here, you can see where we build, and you can begin to understand by watching this video, you can begin to understand how this Tier 5 LTD sale works, and you can also begin to understand how this Tier 5 LTD splitter works, because if you understand that, then you'll really understand why would you want to have some of this Mew Gold. And the reason that you want to have some of this Mew Gold is because if you had this Mew Gold right now, then anybody who buys one of these offers, you're going to get some of that money. So there's already some people who own Mew Gold. If we actually look at Mew Gold over here, and we go in and actually open up Mew Gold, we can see, oh, sorry, that's not Mew Gold. Here's Mew Gold right here. If we look at Mew Gold, we can see that right now there are 8 addresses that actually own Mew Gold. And we can look at these addresses and see here are the 8 people that hold Mew Gold, and here's how much Mew Gold all of those addresses actually hold. All right? So if you watch the other video, then you could understand that anybody who interacts with this contract to buy one of our offers on a lifetime deal on a one-time payment and makes that payment, all of that money is going to be sent to this other smart contract. And what this other smart contract does is it takes that money and it equally divides that money into all of these people that currently have Mew Gold. So if you already have Mew Gold, what that means is you're basically going to get free money anytime somebody goes in and buys an offer from this contract. If somebody goes in and they spend, $1,000 buying something from here, that $1,000 is going to come over here to this LTD sale splitter, and that $1,000 is going to be distributed to essentially these 8 people right here. Really, it's only getting distributed to 7 because one of these addresses is a liquidity pool. So one of these addresses is this liquidity pool right here, and we're not going to send any money to the liquidity pool because that doesn't make sense. And if you're wondering what's the fucking liquidity pool, why doesn't it make sense to send money to the liquidity pool contract? How does the liquidity pool work? What's the contract look like for a liquidity pool? There's another training video that I would recommend that you go in and watch and understand liquidity and understand liquidity pools on centralized exchanges and on decentralized exchanges, so you can have a good understanding of how they actually work, because that is essentially what determines the price of any crypto asset. All right? So hopefully you have a good understanding of what's going to happen. We're going to teach you how to buy anything that you want from me for a discounted one-time fee by interacting with this contract here. And whenever you interact with this contract here, we're going to show you how the money is automatically distributed to this contract here that sends that money out to people who have some of this Mew gold already, and they get some free money. All right, so what we're going to do here is first we're going to actually open up this contract for this Tier 5 LTD sale. All right, so here's that contract. You can see this is a Tier 5 LTD sale. You can see that the code has been verified. Here's all the code. And then you can see the functions. So you can see that we have some different functions that you can interact with on this smart contract. One of those functions you can look and see. If we look over here, you'll be able to look and see. One of those functions is to get the deal ends. All right. So this function right here returns when this deal ends. So we can look at that function and we can grab this value where it's saying, hey, this deal ends at this value, and we can pop it in here in what's called a Unix epoch time converter. So we're going to put that value in there, and we're going to convert that epoch into a human readable date. So you can see that this deal, this offer that I'm offering you, expires on February 1st of 2022 at midnight. So if you try to buy one of these offers after this date, you won't be able to buy it. You will have missed out because this offer ends at that date. All right, so we've looked at that. And then here we have some other functions. And the functions that you're going to want are you're going to want to look at this get product cost. You're going to want to look at this get product approval cost. And then you're going to want to come over here and interact with this buy LTD function. Okay, so this will require you, if you want to use this buy LTD function, this will require you to essentially have Mew gold. Because in order to buy any of these offers, you're going to be buying it with Mew gold, and we're going to take all the Mew gold from the Mew sales, and we're literally going to give all that money back to anybody who has Mew gold right now. So if you're this person right here that has 101 Mew golds, then you can use that Mew gold to buy one of these offers, and whenever you spend that Mew gold buying one of these offers, you're actually going to get some Mew gold sent right back to you for free since you are already holding Mew gold. All right, so what we're going to do here, and I want to give you the information, but I don't want to actually confuse you. So this offer, how this particular offer works is I showed you when it ends, right? We went in and looked, when does this end? Okay, so we just grab this and we can see this. So basically, up until this date, what you can do is anything that I have for offer, and I have so much stuff, somewhere I had it already here. I have so much stuff, like a bunch of software. So I have all this software that we've built so far. So any of this is fair game. I have partner programs. And I have the ability to actually white label our software, and I even have other offers. Literally any offer that you know of that you want to buy, all you have to do is before this date, let me know. All you have to do is send an email to sales@tier5.us. Let's put that in here. So all you have to do is send an email to this email address, sales@tier5.us. Tell me what you want to buy and how much money you want to pay for it. And if it makes sense, then I will add that offer to this smart contract right here. All right? And then I'll let you know exactly what to do to buy it, and then you can buy it. All right? So we're going to look at this contract, and we're going to look at different products cost. So right now, you can see here, one of the products you can buy is Friend Connector. This is one of our softwares. So you can just literally grab Friend Connector. You can come over to this contract and you can type in the product that you want to buy. Now, if you want to buy a special product, again, all you have to do is send me an email to this email address and say, hey, John, I want to buy this, this, and this, and I will give you this much money. You can say, hey, John, I want to buy Friend Connector, Robo Contract, and Link Wizard, and I will give you $100 for that. And I'll think about that, and I'll think, is that a good offer? Am I comfortable with that offer? Do I like that offer? Does that offer make sense? And if it makes sense, then what I will do is I will come in and add that product to the smart contract, and I'll reply to your email and say, okay, I accept. Here's what you put in over here inside this function. So I would, let's say Stuart sent me that email. I would say, you know, hey, just type in Stuart 1235. I'll send you this via email, and then you can look and you can see how much does that offer cost. Well, that offer costs 0 Mew gold. So I want you to understand that in order to buy anything from this contract, you have to have some Mew gold, because the only payment that we accept is Mew gold for these offers. And there's a reason for that, because in order to get Mew gold, you have to first get some Mew coins, so you can go to any of these liquidity pools, and if you don't know how to do that, you can watch one of my videos that shows you how to do that, and you can buy Mew coin, and then you can take that Mew coin and you can get Mew gold with it. I already showed you that there's several people that already have Mew gold, and these are the people that's getting free money. Whenever you buy this offer, all your money is getting sent to the people who already own Mew gold. All right, so you'll need some Mew gold to actually buy this offer. So you're going to go in and use your Mew coin. You're going to buy some Mew gold, and then you're going to use that Mew gold to essentially buy the offer that you actually wanted. So right now, I only have Friend Connector in here. So let's grab Friend Connector, and let's look at this contract and see, hey, how much is it going to cost you for Friend Connector? So here it shows you 36. So if you want to buy a lifetime deal of Friend Connector and have Friend Connector for life and only pay once, then it's going to cost you 36 Mew gold. So how much is 36 Mew gold? Okay, well, let's take a look. Over here on this screen, so these, in case you don't understand, I want to make sure that everybody actually is following along here. So what I'm showing you is I am showing you the liquidity pool for Mew gold, where you can buy Mew gold from, and I'm showing you this liquidity pool here, where you can buy Mew coin from. Okay, so I'm showing you Mew coin and USDC, where you can go buy some Mew coin, and I'm also showing you Mew gold and Mew coin, where can you go buy some Mew gold from. So I'm showing you this that you're seeing is going to be on the right, this that you're seeing is going to be on the left. So this is Mew gold and Mew coin. So if you want to get 1 Mew gold, you need 13.87 Mew coin. So if you have 13.87 Mew coin, you can buy 1 Mew gold. If you don't have any Mew coin, means you can't buy any Mew gold, you need to get, so if I'm going to tell you, and we already told you, we looked at this contract, and this contract said that if you want to buy Friend Connector, you need 36 Mew gold. All right, so how much is that? So let's pop in over here, 36 Mew gold. In order for you to get 36 Mew gold, you need 499.843 Mew coins. All right, so do you have that many Mew coins? If so, you can go ahead and make this swap, and you can get your Mew gold. If you don't have that many Mew coins, you need to first get that many Mew coins. So that's what you're seeing over here. You're seeing Mew coin and United States dollar coin. So this is a stable coin that is pegged to the United States dollar that is always worth $1. This coin does not actually, USDC does not actually fluctuate in value like other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or AVAX or the every other coin that's not a stable coin. Now, it does fluctuate a little bit in value, just a small amount of value, but it's virtually always worth $1. So we need to buy 499.843 Mew coins. So we're going to buy this many Mew coins, and you can see that is costing us $99.95. So what that means is you can essentially buy Friend Connector lifetime deal from this smart contract for basically $99.95. So you're going to take basically $100, you're going to convert that to Mew coin, then you're going to convert that Mew coin into Mew gold, and what you're actually paying. So I want to be clear that you're not actually paying $99, and you're not actually paying $99.95. You're paying 36 Mew coin. Now, if you wait a long time and a lot of people go in and they buy Mew coin and they convert Mew coin to Mew gold, that same 36 Mew coin is going to end up costing you more than $99. So if you are one of the people that already bought Mew coin and you already have 36 Mew coin, it most likely cost you less than $99. All right? So now you know how much Friend Connector is going to cost you. So you know how much Mew gold do you actually need? You need 36 Mew gold. All right? So now in order for you to buy Friend Connector with your 36 Mew gold, you have to basically allow this contract to spend your Mew gold for you. Okay? So you have to approve this smart contract to spend your Mew gold for you. You can see over here on this screen right here, you see this little button that says approved. Whenever I clicked this button right here, what actually happened was I approved Trader Joe's smart contract to actually spend my Mew coin for me, which is what allows me to trade on there. So now that you know how much Mew coin you need to buy the offer, you need to know how much do you need to approve. And it's actually the same amount, believe it or not. If you want to buy something that's 36 Mew coin, you need to approve the LTD sale contract to spend 36 Mew coin for you. But and again, if you don't understand programming or engineering concepts and how all this stuff works, then that's fucking great. You're in the right spot because I'm going to explain it to you. All right? Now, there's a thing that in a smart contract, there is no concept of what's called a floating point number. There are only integer values. So what that means is if I wanted to charge you 36.5 Mew coins, technically I wouldn't be able to do that because smart contracts in the blockchain don't understand decimal values. They only understand integer values, which means whole values. So the concept of having a point something does not exist. You can only have full numbers, which are integers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you can't have 5.367 because the smart contracts don't understand decimals. So what happens is we use mathematical logic to get around that. And again, you can actually find this if you go and let's say we come over here and we actually look at Mew coin. When you look at Mew coin, and again, you can verify this inside the contract, but you can see Mew coin has decimals. It has 18 decimals. So what we actually do is we hyperinflate the supply of Mew coin to allow for decimals. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we only want there to be 1 million Mew coins, but we also want Mew coin to be able to have 18 decimal points. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 million and we're going to multiply that by 10 to the power of however many decimal points that we want to have, and that is going to be our new supply of tokens. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take supply and we're going to multiply that by 10 raised to the power of some decimal. All right? And this is a mathematical trick that allows us to now represent decimal floating point values as integers. So now we don't actually have to have decimal values. All we have to do is have integers because we have used a mathematical trick to create decimal values out of integers. So what does this mean for you? It means whenever you come to this contract, let's go back to our contract. Whenever you come to this contract and you say, hey, look, I want to buy Frame Connector. How much is that going to cost me? Okay, it's going to cost you 36 Mew coins. Okay, well, let's do some math on that 36 Mew coins. So we're going to put in our 36 Mew coins, and what we're going to do now is we're going to convert that 36 into its equivalent value, considering that we need to inflate this number to account for decimals. So now it gives us this new number that you can see is much larger than 36. This is a huge number, as you can see. But this huge number actually represents 36. What does it actually represent? It represents our base, which is 36, the number that we're actually wanting to express, and we're going to multiply that by 10 raised to, in our instance, 18, because we want to have 18 decimals. And since we want to have 18 decimals, we need to basically offset this number so that we can now represent floating point values as integer numbers, okay? Because there is, again, no way to say 36.72 because that is a different data type called a floating point value, and smart contracts cannot handle floating point values. They can only handle integers. So we have to mathematically change our floating point number into some integer. So to give you another example, let's say I wanted to do 36.58. All right, let's do some math on that. And it's not going to actually let me do that math because it wants an integer value, and I'm giving it a floating point value. So no big deal. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a calculator called a ether to way converter, and we're going to put in 36.58. And you can see that what it's going to do is it's going to convert this way is already considering 18 decimal points. It's going to convert this number into another number. And if you look here, if you put that there, you'll see that this is actually 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 18 decimals. That's all we did. All we did was essentially take this 36.57, which is a decimal number, and we need to somehow convert this decimal into an actual integer. So we know that we want to be able to have 18 decimal points, so we're just actually going to convert this. And that ends up giving us 36.57, and here are the rest of our decimal places. So this is 2 decimal places. Here's our other 16 decimal places that we want to have. And this is actually just what's called an ECR20 standard. It is the standard convention that we write smart contracts in if those smart contracts are going to represent tokens, all right? Unit of exchange of value. So not all smart contracts have to be tokens. So for example, if we go back over here, we look, this is a smart contract. 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 All of these we can go look on the blockchain and we can see this smart contract right here is actually Mew coin. This is the actual Mew coin that has 1 million Mew coins. This is a token. and we can look at this other smart contract, which is the smart contract that we're going to use to buy stuff, and we can see that this is a smart contract, but it's actually not a token because it doesn't have to be a token. All right, so hopefully that makes sense so far. So again, what we're actually doing here is we're just looking and we're seeing, look, how much is it going to cost to buy a friend connector? That's going to cost 36. That's going to cost 36 Mew Gold. For 36 Mew Gold, you can buy a friend connector, which means let's convert that to the number that you need to actually approve. Oh, let's type in friend connector. All right. And you're going to get this number back, which is the same number that you would get if you do some math. And it's the same number that you would get if you put 36 into this. So if you put 36 into this, you can see that we're going to get that number. And then if we go back to our contract and we grab this approval cost, you can see it's the exact same number. All right, and we're going to verify that this is all correct, and you're going to get to see it right now. All right, so now that we know what we want to buy, how much it's going to cost in terms of Mew Gold, and what that number actually represents in terms of converting that floating point number into an integer, so we know how much we need to actually approve. Now we're going to want to actually go to our Mew Gold contract. So we're going to go to our Mew Gold contract, and again, it's a smart contract, meaning what? Meaning that it's just actually a bunch of program code. Here's the program code that you can go in and actually look. That can never be changed. This is always going to be like this. It cannot be changed, which is one of the reasons that blockchain is so popular, because you don't actually have to trust people and trust their words for stuff, because it's code, and once the code is written, that's logic. Once it's written and deployed, it can never, ever, ever be changed. So you can just look at that code and know what's going to actually happen, and you don't actually have to trust anybody. So if we come over here to this write contract, what we want to do is we want to call this approve function. And what we want to do is we want to approve this contract, which is the contract we're going to use to buy the LTD. We want to approve this contract to spend some Mew coin for us. How much do we want to approve it to spend? Well, it tells us right here how much we should approve. We need 36 Mew coin, so we need to actually approve this much Mew coin. Okay? So I'm going to show you what's going to happen if we only approve 36 and we don't approve this much Mew coin. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this contract address, because again, this code is the tier 5 LTD sale. So this code is this contract right here. So we're going to allow this contract to spend our Mew coin for us. All right? So because we want it to be able to spend however much Mew coin that we want to pay for this offer. So we're going to come over here to our Mew Gold, and I'm saying Mew coin and Mew Gold at the same time. That's because I'm super tired, so sorry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect to Web3. We're going to connect to our MetaMask wallet here. If you don't have a MetaMask wallet and you're like, what the fuck is this? I would recommend that you watch some of the other videos that I've already created. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to essentially put in that contract's address, and we're going to say, hey, you can spend 36 Mew coin. Well, again, I want you to understand, hopefully you're following, that we're not really giving it permission to spend 36 Mew coin, because this is the number that we need to approve to actually represent 36, and that's not the number that we're putting over here. Over here, we're actually just putting 36. So let's go ahead and write this contract. Let's write to this function, and you can see that, hey, give your permission to access mug. If you want to edit this permission, then you can see, hey, you can see, and you can even see by looking here if you know scientific notation, you can see that you're not actually approving 36 mu coin, you're actually approving 36 e to the negative 17 mu coin, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 3, 6. You're approving that much mu coin, which I think everybody can agree. This is not 36 mu coin. This is much less than 36 mu coin. All right. And why are you doing that? Because that's the number that you put in there. You just actually put in 36. So we're just going to go ahead and confirm this anyways. And we're going to let this transaction go through on the blockchain. We're approving our smart contract that allows us to buy any of our offers for a discounted one-time fee. Even we get to say what that one-time fee is. We're approving that special contract to be able to spend our mu coin. However much mu coin that we want to spend with that contract, we need to come to our mu gold, and we need to ask our mu gold to approve that contract to spend our mu gold for us. If not, then we can't spend it. So right now we're just actually waiting on that. And while we wait on that, what we're going to do is we're just going to actually open up our Blockchain Explorer, and we're going to come over here to where it says More, and we're going to come over here to where it says Token Approvals, and we're going to grab our own address here. We're still waiting on that transaction, as you can see. It's still pending. But we're going to grab our own address, and we're going to paste in our own address here. And here we'll be able to see all of the smart contracts that we have given permission to spend our money for us. So what does that actually mean? And this is a very, very valuable piece of information. This transaction was just actually went through. So if you look here, there's nothing here that allows that contract address to spend our mu coin. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh this. And it's showing 25 of 27. So we're going to come over here and look here. We can see that we have now approved this contract called Tier 5 LTD Sale. We've approved them to spend 0 of our mu coins. We needed to approve 36 mu coins, but we actually approved them to spend 0. And that is because we only put in that 36 number, and we needed to put in this other number. So we needed to put in this big number, but we actually only put in this 36 number. All right, so we needed to put in this number, but we only actually put in this 36 number. So I showed you guys the math on that. So we need to go in and actually rectify that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to change this. So again, what are we doing? We want this contract, and this contract is our Tier 5 LTD sale. It is this contract that we're going to interact with that actually allows us to buy any of our offers for a discounted one-time fee. So this contract needs to be able to spend our money for us. How much money does this contract need to be able to spend for us? Well, that depends on what you want to buy. So again, we wanted to buy Friend Connector, so we just basically put in Friend Connector to look and see, hey, how much is Friend Connector going to cost me? So we asked it, and it told us it's going to be 36 mu gold. So you need to approve 36 mu gold if you want to be able to buy this Friend Connector. So now we're going to actually just give Friend Connector to the same other function that is going to tell us, okay, convert that 36 number into 36 times 10 to the power of 18 decimals, which gives us this number right here, which is still 36. This is still actually 36 mu coins, but it's 36 mu coins considering that you want to be able to express mu coin with 18 decimal points. So all these little zeros now are just actually expressing decimal points as an integer. So if that sounds complicated, then you're probably not a math major. So now what we're going to do, we just grab that value. It told us, hey, how much do I need to approve to buy friend connector? Here's the value. You're just going to grab this value right here, and you are going to stick it into this amount. And you need this contract address. All right, so again, what are we doing? This contract address is the address to this contract right here that we're going to use to buy our thing. Our thing costs 36 Mew Gold, so we need to come over here to Mew Gold, and we need to tell Mew Gold, hey, I have some Mew Gold. I want to approve this guy to be able to do whatever he wants to do with 36 of my actual Mew Gold. I don't want to approve any more. I don't want to approve any less. I want to approve however much it's going to cost me to buy this offer. So that's what we're doing. So now we're going to go in and actually write this transaction. And we're going to confirm and write this transaction. And this transaction is now going to go in, and it's going to be pending here. And you will see, once we refresh this page, this will magically turn from 0 into 36. And once this turns into 36, now our transaction is confirmed. And we can see now that we have approved the Tier 5 LTD sale contract to spend 36 Mew Gold for us. So now we wanted to buy friend connector from this guy. So this guy has friend connector for sale. And right now, if you want to buy friend connector, this guy is willing to sell you friend connector for 36 of these Mew Gold tokens. So you need to have 36 Mew Gold tokens, and you need to tell this Mew Gold, hey, I will allow this contract to spend 36 Mew Gold for me because it's going to give me something in return. So we just went over here to this contract, and we just essentially approved that expenditure. So now we can actually come back to our Tier 5 LTD sale contract, and we can come over here, and we can now buy our friend connector product. So we're going to give our product name. Again, we're going to give the same exact product we gave over here, friend connector. And if you don't know what product you should be giving, this is information that would have been given to you via email. So again, if you remember, anything that you want to buy, literally anything that you want to buy, all you have to do is send an email to sales@tier5.us telling me exactly what you want to buy and exactly how much money that you want to actually pay for it. And if that's a good offer and it actually makes sense, then I will approve that offer, and it will be added to this contract. It will then be added as a product inside this contract. I'll literally actually just come to this contract, and I'll come over here and I'll add and update a product cost. For example, I'll go in and say friend connector, you can now no longer buy it for 36 Mew Gold, it's now 37 Mew Gold. So I'll go in and actually update that price because somebody said they'll give me 36 Mew Gold for it, they've paid me, and I don't want to sell it for 36 Mew Gold anymore. Now I want 37 Mew Gold. So now I'm actually updating that product price. If Hilton has some special offer and he sends an email to sales@tier5.us and he says, hey John, I want to buy Meth and Evan 100 accounts, I will give you $297 for it. I'll think about that, and I'll either say yes or no. And if I say yes, then I'll reply to Hilton's email that he sent me, and I'll say, okay Hilton, all you need to do is use Hilton Meth and Evan 100 as your product code, and I'll go in and actually put in the cost. He said $297, so what I'll then do is, this is literally exactly what I'll do. I'll go in and actually take that $297 and I'll come over here and I'll put in $297. I'll see how much Mew coin is that, and then I'll convert that Mew coin into Mew gold, and then I will grab this number of Mew gold, and then I will basically come over here and I will put this number in here and I will just round it down. So I will say, okay, hey, to get that, I approved it. It's 106 Mew gold, which is equal to $297 at the time I'm quoting the offer. Now, if you go wait a long time and lots of people start buying Mew coin and Mew gold, then it's going to cost you more, because the more people buy and the more people have the coins, the less supply that there is, and the higher it goes up. If you don't understand how all that works, again, you should go watch the video on liquidity pools and how the decentralized exchanges use a constant product algorithm to determine prices of assets that are in the liquidity pools. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to buy Friend Connector. All right, so we're going to come in here and buy our product, Friend Connector. Now, I just want you to understand real quick, whenever you look at Friend Connector, it's no longer 36 Mew gold because we actually updated the price. So you can see it's now 37 Mew gold. And I did that on purpose just so you can see what happens, all right? If you don't go through the step of finding out for the product I want to buy, how many Mew gold is that, convert that number of Mew gold into the number that I need to actually approve, and then basically come over to the Mew Gold smart contract and basically approve the Tier 5 LTD sale contract to be able to spend that much of your Mew coin. So I'm not going to approve it. The last I approved was 36 Mew coin. If you remember over here, we've only approved the Tier 5 LTD contract to spend 36 Mew coin. So we've only approved this contract to spend 36 of our Mew coin. We want to buy from this contract. We want to buy Friend Connector lifetime deal, and we can see that the Friend Connector lifetime deal is actually 37 Mew gold. So we haven't actually approved enough, but who cares? Let's go buy it anyways. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to use this function called buy LTD. We're going to put in the product that we want to purchase. We're going to put in that product that we want to purchase, and we're going to put in the email address that we want our software account set up with. So one of the things that is in this Mew eco structure that we're building, so one of the things, and this is still a work in progress, it's a very new project, so if you're part of this project, you're still very new on it. But one of the things that we're building inside this ecosystem that becomes a stream of revenue for the Mew DAO are essentially things that are called dApps. All right? So they are applications that run on the blockchain. They're applications that run on the blockchain. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over, and one of those dApps, and the reason I'm telling you that is one of those dApps is actually going to end up being an application that allows SaaS software to implement our application inside their software, where people, instead of logging in, this person wants to buy Friend Connector, so that means that they're going to actually have to log into Friend Connector with an email address and a password. So one of the dApps that we're building that ends up being a stream of revenue for the Mew DAO is an application that allows someone who has a SaaS software like this, or someone who has an application where people need to log in with a username and password, it actually allows them to log in with their wallet, with their crypto wallet address, or allows them to essentially authenticate based on holding a certain amount of a certain type of token, or allows them to authenticate and log in with an NFT. So instead of having to use your email address and password to log in, you could just actually use your crypto wallet, and just using your crypto wallet could get you logged in, or using your crypto wallet and having a certain amount of a specific crypto token that you have inside your wallet could allow you to log in, or owning a specific NFT could grant you login access. So that's one of the applications that we're going to be building. We haven't built that yet, so in order to log into Friend Connector, you're going to need an email address. So I need to know what will be that email address that you'll use for login. So you're going to give me that email address whenever you go buy the LTD. So you're going to buy the LTD. You're going to essentially give the product that you want to buy. And if you don't know what this product is, you probably would have got it at your email address. You probably sent me an email to sales@tier5.us and said, John, I want to buy this. I will give you this much money. And I said, nope, you're a cheapskate. I won't sell you my kidney for 3 Mew gold. So I don't approve it. Or I said, sure, I'll sell you Friend Connector for 37 Mew gold. So just type in Friend Connector and you can buy it. All right. So you will get that product from your email, or if you want to buy Friend Connector, just use Friend Connector. You'll get all the information on how much it costs. From the read side, you'll just type in your product name and that will give you the actual cost. If you look at the product cost, it's telling you Friend Connector is $37. And then you'll just take the product, you'll go to the right contract. Make sure that you've actually connected your wallet. That's really, really easy to do. Just click this button that says connect, pick your wallet, hit OK. Now you've been connected. You can verify that this address here is your wallet address that you actually want to use. And you're basically going to put in the product you want to buy, and you're going to type in the email address that you want to use for your login. All right, and then you're going to write. Now, you can see that we're getting a transaction, and it's saying right here, the transaction is expected to fail. Trying to execute it is expected to be expensive but fail and is not recommended. You can say I will try anyways, and you can go ahead and confirm it and try, or you can look at this data and it's not giving you any data, it's not giving you any details. Now I can tell you what's happening and why it's expected to fail. It's expected to fail because we've approved the contract to spend 36 Mew coin to buy something that costs 37 Mew coin. So we want to buy something that costs 37 Mew coin, but we've only given our offer contract, our tier 5 LTD sale, we've only given them permission to spend 36 Mew coin. So because of that, our transaction's not going to work. That's why we're getting this error. But hey, let's try it anyways, because maybe we don't understand any of this stuff. So let's go ahead and try this anyways and see what happens. So now we're just actually waiting on our transaction to go through. One of the reasons that we picked the AVAX network and we picked the Avalanche blockchain is because it's actually so much faster than the Ethereum blockchain. And it's more trusted to me than the Binance Smart Chain, easier to use than the Polygon network. So lots of reasons that we actually picked AVAX and chose AVAX. Right now we're just actually waiting for this, and it's going to take a little while for this contract interaction to actually go through and this transaction to process, mostly because all the miners who are processing this transaction, they already know that it's probably going to fail. So many of them won't want to include this transaction in with the transactions that they're actually processing because they can already see that it's probably going to actually fail. And I showed you why it's going to fail, because we've only approved 36 Mew gold and the contract is trying to spend 37 Mew gold. So we just actually need to come over here and we actually just need to approve 37 instead of 36, and then everything will be fine. But first, let's wait for this contract. First, we're just going to wait for this contract. But this is exactly how you can interact with smart contracts on the blockchain. And whenever you interact with other smart contracts on the blockchain and you're not interacting with them through the Blockchain Explorer, you're just on some website and it's wanting you to interact. What that website is doing in the back end is really just using this bunch of code right here, which is called an application binary interface. It's just using this interface, and it is literally just calling the functions that are right here. So, and you can verify all that in the code on the front end of that website. We're still waiting for our transaction. Let's speed it up. So we're just going to speed it up for no reason, because I don't want to sit here and wait for it. Now it's done, and you can see that it failed. So let's look at it. And it failed, and it gives you an error right here. Haven't approved me to buy LTD. Okay? And we can actually go in and look in the code. That's one of the beauties of blockchain. We can always look at the code and see what it's doing, especially if the code's been verified. Now, not every smart contract is the code verified, and can you look at the code? Some people don't go in and verify their code because they don't want you to actually look at the code. And if they don't want you to look at their code, there's probably a reason that they don't want you to look at their code. So if it's verified, at least you know that those people don't care if you look at their code, so you can trust that project a lot more than a project where they haven't actually verified the code. If they haven't verified the code, it's because they don't want you to see the code. But this code is verified, and since it's verified, we get the little green check, and we can go in and actually look at the source code. And if we look at the source code, we can actually see here is that function called buy LTD. And whenever you call that function, remember, you needed to provide a product name and you needed to provide your email. And the first thing that that function does is it actually looks to see, is the current timestamp, is right now's time less than the deadline for this offer? And we looked at the deadline for this offer somewhere, and we saw that the deadline for the offer was February 1st, 2022. So we first look and see, hey, is this offer still valid? The very next thing that we do is we look to see, hey, has this person that's asking to buy this LTD, have they approved this address, meaning this same smart contract, have they approved me to be able to spend however much money I needed to spend to be able to buy whatever product that they're wanting to buy. So you're passing in a product here, and that product's actually being passed into what is actually a product mapping that's basically just looking up that product. It's grabbing the cost of that product, and then it's doing some math and converting that value into the bigger value. So it's converting that 36 into that much bigger number by taking 36 and multiplying it by 10 raised to the power of 18 decimals. All right? And if you haven't approved that much, which in this instance I hadn't, I only approved 36 and I needed to approve 37, I'm actually getting this error right here that says haven't approved me to buy LTD. And if I look over here, I get this error right here that says haven't approved me to buy LTD. I can see here's the product, here's the function that I tried to call. Here's the information that I gave, and it actually failed. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna come over here and we're gonna actually approve that. We're gonna approve that contract to spend our 37 Mew coin. So let's go in and actually write here. Now we're approving that. And we're going to wait for this transaction to go through. We'll come back over here once this transaction goes through. And you can do this at any time. At any time you can go to the Blockchain Explorer. It doesn't matter what Blockchain Explorer you're on. They all essentially, I'm pretty sure they all do, but you can easily go look and see. They all essentially have some way for you to go in and see the approval list. That way you can go in and actually look and see, hey, what contracts are allowed to spend my money? And sometimes I have videos on this that teach you about crypto scams. Sometimes what happens is you guys are so interested in a crypto project because, and it's not this crypto project, I'm just using this as an example. Okay, this is actually a pretty cool project, but I'm just using this as an example. Sometimes what happens is you guys go to some website and you're inside the actual website and you see some information and you don't go in and actually look at everything. You see some information, you see that they're offering you, what are they offering you? You see that they're offering you 74,000 annual percent yield on your investment, and you don't think anything about it, so you just go in and click some buttons. And whenever you click some buttons here, remember, whenever you click this button here, what's really happening is you're calling some function on a smart contract, and you could actually go hunt that smart contract down. You could find the function that you're calling, and you could actually go look at the code if they verified the code. If they didn't verify the code, that's probably a big screaming red flag that you shouldn't do anything with that project, because they don't want you to actually know the real information about it, which is why they won't verify the source code. If they have verified the source code, you could just go look at the source code and you could literally just go see, hey, what does that function do? If I call that function, what does it actually do? So again, we're still waiting for this transaction to happen. We're going to speed it up here real quick. So we're just speeding up this transaction just a little bit, because it was going too slow. It was going too slow for us. And what this transaction is, again, is we just actually went in and let's see if this transaction was successful. It was. It says we approved our 37 Mew Gold. So let's come back over here and let's look at all the smart contracts that can spend our money. The reason I was telling you about the other stuff is because what this is telling you right here is that this Tier 5 LTD sale, you have given it permission to spend 36 Mew Gold from you. So it can take 36 Mew Gold from you anytime it wants if there's some function that allows it to do that. How would you know if there's a function that allows it to do that? Well, you could go actually look at the code of the smart contract, and inside that smart contract, you could look at the code and you can easily see, is there a steal function? All right, so I have now approved this Tier 5 LTD sale to spend 37 Mew Gold for me, which is great because I want to buy something that costs 37 Mew Gold. All right, now again, the great thing about everything being on the blockchain and everything being verified is you could go look at this smart contract, you could go look at this Tier 5 LTD sale contract, and you could go look through this code, and if you understand code, you could see, hey, is there any way that this contract can just spend that money for me? Is there any way that if I decide, okay, hey, I don't want to buy that LTD anymore, since I approved, can that contract still spend the money for me? You could go in and actually look. Luckily, in this contract, there isn't. Also, I want you to understand that at any time in that same contract, you can go in and you can decrease an allowance. So you could go in and you could say, hey, I'm currently allowing them to spend 37 Mew coin. I'm going to remove all of that. And then you could essentially write, and now this contract address would no longer be able to actually spend. It would be able to spend whatever you gave it permission to spend minus this amount. All right? So you can go in and you can call that contract, and you can also just actually go to this page and you could just connect your wallet. And if you wanted to, you could just completely remove access. Okay? So you could just actually completely go in and you could remove access where they're no longer approved. And you can look at my wallet and you can see, hey, look here. I have given this contract right here, which is this Trader Joe router, I've given this contract the ability to spend unlimited USDCE. And if I look inside my wallet address right now, I have 32.161 USDCE, and this smart contract is allowed to spend unlimited USDCE for me. So, what does that mean? It would be, that means I would probably most definitely want to be able to come over here to this actual contract, because that's what I just did. I just actually went and I opened this contract in a new address. I would most definitely want to be able to come and make sure at least they have verified their contract, where I could go look at their code and I can go see all their functions that are there that someone could actually call. And I can go in and look through their code and see, hey, does this person have some way where as soon as I go in and do something, like let's say I wanted to do something like this, right? And again, this is why the blockchain is so amazing, and it's one of the reasons that it's so unamazing too, because people don't actually understand what's really going on, and they just jump into it balls to the fucking wall, and they end up getting scammed. Well, you end up getting scammed because you just don't have enough information. Let's say I come in here and I take one AVAX and I convert it to United States dollar coin. All right, so I'm going to go in and actually convert this. That's the pending transaction. You can see I have 32 of them. I'm not sure what this is. Now that transaction just actually went through, and now you can see I have more. I have 118 of them. But guess what? Guess what? This contract right here has permission. I've given it permission to spend unlimited USDC. So if I don't know what code is inside this contract, and I'm just a reckless person, there's a possibility that this contract has some function in there that just says, hey, if this guy has any USDC, take it from him and give it to me. Well, he's not, I mean, you could say he's stealing it from you, but you've literally granted this contract permission to spend unlimited USDC. So that means that an unlimited amount of USDC up to the amount that you have, which I have 118 right now, well, he has unlimited. If there's a way, if there's code in his contract, he has permission. This contract has permission to do whatever it wants with an unlimited amount of my USDC. I've granted him permission to spend that on my behalf, and if I don't know the code inside this contract, there could easily be code in there that just says, hey, a function, take all of John's money. And he could just watch my wallet address, and he could see anytime that John gets more USDC, just take his money from him and send it to me. All right, so I want you guys to actually understand what's really going on. And again, I could just, if I'm not happy with that, and I'm like, hey, I can't go in and see his contract, I can't see his code, I can't actually see his, and we could go in and actually look at it. It's this guy right here. I can see he's got a verified contract here. I can go in and actually read all the code if I want to. I can go in and see all the functions and see what things he could actually do with my money if I want to get into that. But I can also just go in and say, you know what? Nope. Not anymore. Okay. Now I'm going to revoke him. Now, whenever I'm done, he will not have permission to spend any of my USDC anymore. That contract's not allowed to spend my USDC. Now, I know that contract is the router for this decentralized exchange that allows me to essentially spend this for me. If I wanted to say, hey, take this much of my USDC and turn it into AVAX, well, guess what? There's a smart contract that powers that, and he has to have permission to say, okay, take this much money out of John's wallet and send it to this liquidity pair contract, and then let that liquidity pair contract send back this much AVAX to John. All right? So anyways, we kind of deviated there, but there's a reason that we deviated there, because I wanted you guys to actually understand, one, why did this transaction fail? This transaction failed because we didn't approve the contract to spend as much money as it actually needed to spend. And I wanted to get you guys to actually understand what's really happening when you're approving a contract to spend money, how you can go in and see what contracts are allowed to spend your money and how much are they allowed to spend, and how to go in and actually revoke their access. You can re-grant them access at any time you want, and I'm going to show you that. I'm gonna show you that here in a second. I'm just going to actually speed this up a little bit because I don't want to wait. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. I know this has been a long video, but that's one of the reasons I made this training video, was one, to show you guys how you can buy anything that I have to offer. You can buy any of my software, any of my partner programs, white labels, anything that you want for whatever price that you want. If it makes sense, all you have to do is send an email to sales@tier5.us. Let me know what you want to buy, how much you want to buy it for. If it makes sense, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good offer, I'll happily accept that. Then I'll basically come to the contract. I will add that product in. I'll let you know what product to use. Then you can see the price that we agreed on. You can approve that price on the Mew Gold contract, and then you can essentially call this function to buy that product. And as long as you've approved however much the cost is that you can see beforehand, it will spend that for you. And it will do what with it? It will take 100% of that money and it will send it to this other contract address. And I'm going to show you that right now. And this other contract address will essentially split that money up and reward anybody who already has Mew Gold. So if you already have Mew Gold, it will send you free money. The more money that people spend, the more money that you get just for already owning Mew Gold. All right, and this is part of the actual ecosystem that we're building. Again, one of the reasons that I'm doing this. So let's come back in and look where we're at here. What we just did is we just made a transaction to remove this guy right here. This Trader Joe spending our USDC where he's not allowed to spend it anymore. So let's refresh, and we can see he's no longer there. That Trader Joe's no longer allowed to spend our USDC anymore. So if I actually come back to Trader Joe, look what he wants me to do. He wants me to approve. So he wants me to approve, okay? So in order for him to be able to use any of my USDCE to do any transaction for me, I have to approve. So I can click approve, and that's going to pop up a transaction. And if I look at it, I can see that, hey, this guy has proposed that I let him spend an unlimited amount of my USDC. And I can actually change that, and I can say, no, actually, you can only spend 1 unit. Now remember, if I do that 1 unit, literally what it's going to be is 1 to the e minus 17 is what it's really actually going to be. So I would need to actually do some math on this and convert this to 1 times 10 raised to the power of decimals. And there was a calculator that I showed you. I would just need to give him this value right here. If I only wanted him to be able to spend $1, I need to put in $1. This just does math, and it just multiplies that $1 and turns it into a larger number so that we can deal with floating point decimal values. So I could actually come back over here and I could change this, and I could say, hey, I don't want to give you an unlimited amount, because you can see this is 1.1579 blah, 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 blah. E to the 71. So this is raised to the 71st power, which is virtually unlimited. So I can go in and actually change this, and I can say, hey, I just actually want to allow you to spend 1. So I'm going to confirm, and then I'm actually just going to speed this transaction up as well. Okay. Now, he failed for some reason. Oh, Nope, he didn't fail. What failed was to actually speed up the transaction. So now if I actually come back over here and see who's approved to spend my money, I can see there's that guy again, that Trader Joe, and somehow I didn't get him the right value. He's still approved to spend unlimited value. So something not right is going there. So if I wanted to figure that out, I'd need to spend more time going in and actually looking at this contract and seeing, hey, what's actually happening with this contract. I'm not worried about it, and the reason I'm not worried about it is because I trust their contract, and I know that their contract only spends my money whenever I ask them to spend it. All right? So before you ever approve somebody to spend your money, you should make sure that they're going to spend it wisely, right? You probably shouldn't give somebody that you just met access to spend 100% of your money if you don't even know what they're going to do with it. All right, so let's buy our LTD finally. Finally, we're going to go buy our LTD, okay? So we're going to go try this again. Remember, before we tried it and it gave us an error and it said, hey, this probably won't work. And the reason it didn't work is because we hadn't approved the contract to actually spend enough of our money. It needed to be able to spend 37 Mew Gold, but we only allowed it to spend 36 Mew Gold. So now we've changed that. If you remember, we've actually changed that, and we went in and we allowed him to spend 37 Mew Gold. And that transaction has actually been confirmed. So let's go see this. So now we have actually bought that LTD. So you can see we bought that LTD for 37 Mew Gold. Woohoo! So now if you bought that LTD, literally all you need to do is you could just literally send me your address to that same email, sales@tier5.us, and say, hey, John, you know that offer we talked about? I went ahead and bought it. Here's my wallet address. And since I have your wallet address, I can then go in and actually use your address to go in and find what email address I need to set your software account up with. So then I can go in and I can find your email address. There's your email address, and I'll go in and actually set your accounts up, and I'll send you an email and get you everything that you actually purchased. All right? So, but now what I want you to actually see is what's happened. All right? What has happened is I spent 37 of my Mew Gold. So I spent 37 of my Mew Gold, and I bought a friend connector lifetime deal. That was around $100, so I spent $100. I got a friend connector LTD. But what happened with that 37 Mew Gold? Well, guess what? It was sent to this contract right here. So let's look at this contract. Now, if we look at this contract, look right here. It has 37 Mew Gold inside of it. It's holding 37 Mew Gold. So this contract has our 37 Mew Gold. Great. Now, I can go look at the source code for this contract, and I explained to you in this other video, if you watched the previous video, so if you watch this video right here, my latest video, I explained to you, and we even actually went and built this contract together, and I showed you that this contract is basically going to receive all the money from this sales. So if this contract does $100,000 worth of sales, it's going to send $100,000 to this contract right here. And this contract is going to essentially just split up that $100,000 to who? It's going to split it up to anybody that essentially owns Mew Gold when I created this offer. So when I created this offer, look, here's that contract address now that owns 37 Mew Gold. And whenever I created this offer, these 8 people own some Mew Gold. So all of these 8 people are going to get some of this $37. As more transaction happens, more money goes into this contract. All of these people get some free money. So right now I have 11,505. Look at this guy. He has 120 he has 120 Mew gold. All right, so all he would need to essentially do is come over here to this contract. Let's get rid of a bunch of these guys. So all he would need to essentially do, what are we doing? We're looking at these Mew gold holders. So these are all the people who have Mew gold. We're going to look at this payment splitting contract. We can see that this payment splitting contract now owns 37 Mew gold, and it will send that Mew gold evenly to everybody that actually was holding on to Mew gold. So if you had listened to the other emails I sent you and you had went and actually got some Mew gold and were holding on to some Mew gold, then anybody that buys any of these offers, you would be getting free money for that. Right now, you'd be getting free money. So you can see this guy right here owns 120 Mew gold right now. So all he would need to do is basically take his own contract address and come over here to this contract, to our payment splitter. Remember, this is our payment splitter. And all he would need to do is essentially come and say, hey, I want to release some money to my account, and I am going to release some Mew gold. And then he would write that transaction. He'll connect to his provider. Now remember, he has 120 Mew gold right now. So let's release however much he's owed. And he's going to get some free Mew gold. That transaction is processing. You can see that transaction is processing. Let's just speed it up for fun. Now it's been confirmed. This guy had 120 Mew gold right here. Number 7, he had 120. He ends in BDB47A. Let's just refresh this. BDB47A. Now he has 120 and some additional Mew gold on top of that. See, he got 0.06 for free. So that's what that payment splitter does. All right, so that payment splitter now goes in and it actually takes 100% of the money coming from this contract through sales of software, and it redistributes it to anybody that has Mew gold. Remember, if you have Mew gold already, that's how you can buy things from us, and that's also how you can essentially participate in the Tier 5 DAO that's coming in the future. More information about that in another video. It's a decentralized organization. But right now, if you had it, you would be getting a portion of all the money that's coming in here. And that portion would basically literally just be based on adding all these up, minus the liquidity pool, and coming up with that sum, and then finding what portion of that do you actually own. And if you own 50% of that, then you would get 50% of all the money. But you can see there's 50,000, 11,000, 3,000, 200, 120, 154, 101. Now you can see this was our contract address that had the 37 Mew gold in it. This is our payment splitter. He has less than 37 Mew gold because this guy took his portion, right? So this guy has the largest portion. He gets the biggest amount of the payments. Why? Because he's actually holding more Mew gold than anybody else. So his portion of the free money is the largest. So we could go in and essentially go back to our contract, and we could essentially just release it to this address. And we can confirm. And we can see that this guy, before we released his share of the money, had 50,000 Mew gold. And our payment splitter contract, where all the money from the sales are going, had 36 Mew gold. We've just asked, this guy just asked, hey, pay me my free money. I want my free money. Well, his free money's sitting in this contract. And again, we can go in and actually verify this contract. We can look at the code and we can see, hey, exactly what happens. It holds all his money in it until he wants his money out. And anytime he wants his money out, he can just come in and actually call this function right here and say, hey, I want to take my Mew Gold and I want what's owed to me. And it will go in and see, hey, do we actually owe you anything? And if we owe you anything, it will go in and actually send him what is owed to him. And we're still waiting for this transaction. Let's speed her up a little bit. Let's speed her up a little bit. Speeding her up. Speeding her up. Speeding her up. Okay, transaction was confirmed. And what is it that we just actually confirmed? Again, we went to our payment splitting contract. So we went to this contract that gets all the money from our software sale for this offer that ends on February 1st, 2022. That is an offer in the contract where you can buy anything that I have on a one-time payment for whatever you want, as long as you make me a good offer and you pay with Mew Gold. But it takes 100% of that money and it sends it to this payment splitting contract, and it just basically gives all that money away for free to any of these people who actually had Mew Gold whenever we created that offer. All right, so we went into that payment splitting contract and we said, hey, we want to remove our free money, our free Mew Gold. So we went in and did that transaction. We had 50,000 when we started, and the payment splitting contract had 36. So let's refresh. And now we can see that we had 50,028. And the payment contract now has 8 left in it. So this, who gets this? Well, this other 8 is some goes to this address already got theirs, some goes to this address, some goes to this address, some goes to this address, some goes to this address already got theirs. And we can verify that just by looking at 5028 and this 871. This is how much is left in that payment splitting contract. This is the contract that just got paid. If we go in and try to pay ourselves again, we're not going to be able to get any more money. And you can see it's expected to fail. Now, you can't go in and see why it was expected to fail, but you can see, based on looking at this function, it's expected to fail. And the reason that it's expected to fail is because this address is asking for some money, and we don't owe it any money because we've already paid it. Now, if someone else comes in and they buy an LTD from this contract address, more money will get sent over here, and since more money gets sent over here, this contract will be holding more money, and it will owe more money to everybody that's on this list, and they can go in and essentially get their free money. Now, that's one of the reasons that you may want to essentially have Mew Gold and hold Mew Gold, is because I'm creating several offers like this, and just due to the fact that you actually have some Mew Gold and you're holding on to the Mew Gold, just like this person just got 28 Mew Golds, and if you look, hey, how much is that? Well, let's take a look. Let's say, hey, we need 28 Mew Golds. That is 391 Mew coins. That person just got $78 for free from that first sale. All right, like that first sale. Now, if someone else buys the same thing for the same amount of money, then they get another $78 for free. If I go in and update the price from Friend Connector, where it's no longer 37 Mew Gold, it's now 100 Mew Gold, then that person gets even more money. So anyways, hopefully from this video, you have now actually understood how you can actually interact with a smart contract through the actual Block Explorer. So what we've done is we've actually went in and we've interacted with this smart contract, and we've called several of its functions, and we called some functions on this smart contract as well. We called an approve function on this smart contract, and on this smart contract we called several different functions. We went in and called a function to basically get a product approval cost, get a product cost, and then we also called a function to go in and actually buy an LTD for a specific product that we wanted to actually buy. So we called those functions. In order to call this function here, we first had to do what? We first had to know what product that we wanted to buy. If you think you know, like you want to buy Chirply, you can look and see, hey, is there anything there for Chirply? If you see there's a 0 value for the product that you want to buy, that means you can't buy that product. If you would still like to buy that product, all you have to do is send an email to sales@tier5.us and specifically state exactly what you want to buy and exactly how much money do you want to pay for it. And if that is a good offer, if it makes sense, I will then go in and essentially add that product to this contract where you can then go in and buy it. And I will reply to your email and say, okay, I've added it. Here's the product that you need to use. And you'll just basically come over here and you'll put in that product. Special product for you. You'll get this from your email and it will tell you the price that we agreed on. You said you would pay $1,000. So I just basically, what would I have done? I basically would have just went in here and said, hey, you want to pay $1,000. What is the current? If you go right now and you take $1,000 and you use that to buy Mew coin, so you can take that Mew coin and buy some Mew gold, how much is that going to be? 352. So you're going to owe me 352 Mew gold. Now, if you wait till tomorrow and lots of people go in and they're buying, and they're not taking their time, they go in and buy their offers. So that means the price of Mew coin is going up, and the price of Mew gold is also going up, just like you can see that they've just been doing on these graphs ever since we launched them. You can see they're just going up. Then you'll end up paying more than that $1,000, and that's on you. That's not on me. So if you already know, hey, I'm only going to spend $1,000 and I only want to spend $1,000, I don't want to spend any more than $1,000, what you should do is you should first go in and buy your Mew coin right now, because then you'll have more than $1,000 by the time I approve your offer. Because if the price of Mew coin goes up and you buy it before the price goes up, that means that your $1,000 is going to be worth more than $1,000. All right? If you wait until after it gets approved, then your $1,000 may cost actually more money than that. All right, so what we did, that's where we got the product cost from. We got the product cost from there. We found out what the product cost was. If it was 0, remember, you just send the email address. You just send the email letting me know what you want to buy and how much you want to buy. If it makes sense, I'll go in and create that product. Then you'll be able to see how much it's going to cost you in Mew gold. Then you find the approval cost, how much you need to actually approve. We explained to you what this value was and how this value, all it does is basically represent a floating point decimal number in terms of an integer. So you can get the same thing by actually looking at one of these conversions, which is all that's happening here. All that's happening here is we're essentially taking a value where we want to have some decimal value, some floating point value, but we're not allowed to use this data type. So what we're doing is we're converting this floating point into an integer value over here. That's all that's actually happening. All right, so just a little bit of math trickery. Since we can only use full values, we're not allowed to use decimal points because the programming language doesn't understand that. And the reason for that is it's just a lot bigger data object is why that actually is, if you even care why that actually is. So we called those, we got that value, and then basically we went over here to our Mew gold contract. And what did we do? We basically approved. Who did we approve? Well, we approved this guy. We said, hey, this guy can spend some money for us. How much money could he spend for us? Well, we found out over here. We said, okay, hey, what product do we want to buy? We wanted to buy a friend connector. We found out that friend connector is going to cost us 37 Mew golds. So we found out, okay, hey, how much is that in our special funding number? It's this much here. So we're going to get that much. And then we're going to come over to our Mew gold contract. Going to make sure we're connected to our wallet. We're going to approve that 37 Mew gold, and we're going to approve. Who are we approving again? We're approving this guy right here. So we're approving this guy's address to spend 37 Mew gold, because that's the cost of our offer. So we approve him, and then once we actually get him approved, then we're going to go back to this contract and we're going to buy the offer that we wanted to buy. So we're going to come over here. We're going to again make sure that we're actually connected. We're going to put in the product that we wanted to buy. And we're going to put in the email address that we want to receive our product at. So we're buying friend connector. Remember, friend connector, you need to log in with an email address and password. So we're going to actually provide that email address over there, and we're going to hit right. And again, remember, whenever we hit right, for me, it's not going to actually let me do it. And why is it not going to let me do it? Because in order for me to buy friend connector, I need to actually let this contract spend 37 Mew gold for me. And I showed you how to also do this, where you could go in and you could go in and see, hey, who have you approved to spend your money? And I could just go in and look and see, did I approve that contract to spend 37 Mew gold for me? If I didn't, then I can't buy the LTD. And I can go in and look and see, hey, here's all the addresses that can spend my money. I don't see that contract anywhere. So since I don't see that contract anywhere, guess what? I can't go in and I can't buy that LTD because it's not approved to spend the money. See? Won't let me. So what do I need to do? I need to approve it. Showed you how to approve it. Approve them to spend the money for me. We're just going to send some more free money to people. So remember, as soon as you buy something, 100% of the money that you actually spend gets sent over here to this guy, and this guy just sends out free money to anybody that has Mew gold. So if you own Mew gold, then it's sending you free money. So what did we do? We went in and approved. And you can see now, look, here is that contract, Tier 5 LTD sale. You can see there's that contract. He's approved to spend 37 Mew gold. So he's already allowed to spend 37 Mew gold. Great. So let's look at the contract. What did we want to buy? We wanted to buy friend connector. That costs $37. Or, well, it costs 37 Mew gold, which is approximately $100. All right, so it costs 37. You could already see that we've approved that contract to spend 37. So then we're going to come over here and then we're going to just buy that LTD. So we're going to put in the product we want to buy, put in the email address that we want the product purchase to be set up at. We're going to connect to our wallet because we didn't connect to our wallet. So we're going to connect to our wallet. Now we're connected to our wallet. So now we're going to go in and buy the LTD. We're spending money and sending free money to anybody who already has some Mew gold. So if you already are one of these people that are holding Mew gold, then guess what? You're going to get some free money. This was our payment splitting contract right here, has some Mew gold, if you remember. That's this contract right here that takes all the money from this sale and holds all that money and allows any of these people that already have been cool enough to go in and actually buy some Mew gold to get their free money. So they can actually go in and get their free money. It had 37 in it before, if you remember, and we actually distributed some of that 37 to this address, and we distributed some of that 37 to this address, and all the other addresses are still owed some money. We're waiting on our transaction from buying that new LTD to go through. It hasn't went through, so we're just going to go in and actually speed it up. So now we're just waiting for that. And whenever that actually happens, I will own the LTD because I bought it. And essentially, I'll be able to go in, and this will now be 8.712 plus 37. That will be in our payment splitter. And then any of these addresses can go in and they can get their free money from that payment splitter. Because that payment splitter, that's what it's doing. So, and again, once you make the transaction, once you go in and essentially, once you go in, okay, you can see that the transaction was confirmed. You can see the transaction was confirmed, so that means if I go and refresh this page, this guy has 37 more, so 37 plus 8. You can see now he has 45, and everybody can go in and get some more money. They can go in and get this whole 45 from this payment splitting contract. All right, if your name is on this board or if your wallet address is on this board, you can go get your free money from here. That's your reward for already having Mew Gold. If you don't have any Mew Gold and you want to buy our offers, you should go get some to buy our offers. And you should make sure that you hold on to a little bit, because if you hold on to a little bit, as we create more offers, guess what? Whenever we create that actual offer and people want to go in and spend Mew Gold to buy that offer, all that money is going to be going to a different payment splitter. This is the first offer. This is the first payment splitter. This offer expires on February 1st. And after February 1st, when we create another offer, there'll be a new offer contract, there'll be a new payment splitter, and whenever we create that new offer, anybody that's actually holding Mew Gold is going to be included in that payment splitter, and they can go to that payment splitter contract offer address, and they can go in and actually get their free money as a reward for being somebody that has already invested in the Mew Gold infrastructure and the Mew infrastructure. And as time goes on and I make more videos and we actually add more and more to this ecosystem and we teach you guys everything there actually is to know at a fundamental and at a high level technical aspect of cryptocurrencies and projects and how to really understand what's going on, and we build out the DAO and everything, you'll see even more and more complex ways that you'll be able to participate and stake your holdings and earn even more revenue. All right, so anyways, that shows you all of that. So hopefully that makes sense. That's pretty much all I had to show you now. So now if you are on the live video, I will answer any questions that you possibly have. If you have any questions, I will first go through and look at the questions that you've already put in the chat, and I'll answer those, and then I'll answer any other questions if you guys have them and you just want to ask them. You can either just ask them out loud or you can just put them in the chat. So one of the questions, if we use one of your products, how long will it take to earn? I don't understand really what that means. I think that kind of means if I buy a basketball goal and a basketball, how long until I'm in the NBA? Well, that really depends on, that really has nothing to do with the basketball goal and the basketball. So if you use one of our products, how long will it take you to earn? Well, earning money from our software products is much more of a function of how you use the software product and other things beyond the software product than just using the software product. So for example, Friend Connector, you can use Friend Connector. I even showed you in this training video how you can go in and get Friend Connector, and you could buy Friend Connector during this training video, you could have already bought it. I've showed you literally how to do it. You could have already bought it for what? You could have already bought it for 37 Mew Golds. So you could have bought it for 37 Mew Golds, and I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the price of Mew Golds has already actually went up. Since we've been on this video, it's actually went up some because somebody else has apparently went in and bought. Even I bought some on here. But you can buy Friend Connector right now during this live training for 37 Mew Golds. That is 513 Mew, which is $102. So you could have bought Friend Connector LTD for $102. All right. One-time payment, it's yours for life. Now, what can you do with Friend Connector? You can use Friend Connector to go in and essentially increase your friends list and automate sending messages to people you send friend requests to and people who send you friend requests. So you can essentially grow your audience. Now, how long after you start using Friend Connector can you expect to earn money? Well, that really has nothing to do with Friend Connector, because you can add friends all day, every day until you fucking die and all your fucking friends die, and you could never make any fucking money, because adding friends to your friends list, that's what Friend Connector does. It helps you grow your friends list, and it helps you start conversations with your friends, and it helps you start conversations and weed out people who are sending you friend requests. You can use it all day, every day, and you can send 100 friend requests a day and get 50 or 100 new friends every single day. And you could do that till you have 5,000 friends. You can delete all 5,000 of those friends, and you could use Friend Connector to add 5,000 more. They could all be targeted leads. They could all be exactly the type of person that buys your stuff. And you could never make a penny, because you have to do more than just actually add friends. You have to add the friend, then probably you want to create a relationship with that friend. You probably want to create some content so that friend can begin to actually know, like, and trust you. You probably most definitely need to have some offer somewhere in the fucking world where that friend has a way to go in and actually find your offer, and that friend can now go in and look at your offer and decide to buy it. Then you make some money. So hopefully that answers your question to, if you use one of your products, how long will it take to earn? For example, we have Chirply. And again, you can go in and actually buy Chirply if you want. You could go in and make me an offer and say, hey, you know what, John? Just like I told you, you can send an email to sales@tier5.us, and you can say, hey, John, I want to buy Chirply. I want the platinum account that's unlimited, that we charge $997 a month for, and I will give you $100 for that. I'll probably say no. You never know until you try. I'll probably say no, that's a stupid offer, because I literally have people who right now pay $1,000 a month, so it doesn't make sense that I would sell it to you for $100, all right? But regardless of that, let's say I said yes, you go in and buy Chirply, and you start using Chirply today. Well, let's say you have an offer, right, where people can already go right now and buy your thing, like they can buy Friend Connector. I already have an offer and a way for people to go in and actually buy Friend Connector. Let's say you have an offer and you have a list. You could literally go in and take that list and upload it into Chirply, and you could send that offer to the list of people that you uploaded in Chirply via an email, via a text message, via an IVR, via ringless voicemail, and within minutes they could go in and buy your stuff. If you have a list of 10,000 people, 100 of them could go in and buy your stuff within minutes of using the software. But hopefully you understand that using the software isn't really a function of how much money that you're going to make, because there's a lot more. That's why I use the analogy of, if you go buy a basketball goal and a basketball, how long until you're an NBA player? Well, if you just go buy the basketball goal and the basketball sits inside, the basketball goal's outside, meanwhile you're at your girlfriend's house having sex, you may never become an NBA player. You could go out and practice basketball every day until you're old and gray and die, and you still may never become a basketball player, because it doesn't depend on the basketball goal and the basketball. So hopefully that answers your question. I don't know how else to answer it. Richard, you said buy through the contract. What's the contract address? It's actually in the video. So the contract address is in the video. And if you're like, what? I don't see it. Where's the video? That's probably because you're on the live training. So if you're on the live training, I'll put it in the chat. All right, so if you're on the live training, I put the contract address in the chat, and there's the contract address. If you're watching the actual replay on YouTube, then the contract address is actually, everything you need to know is in the description of the video. Raju said, can we buy Tier 5 partner program through the contract? You can. You can buy anything that you want. Anything that I have to offer, you can buy it. So, for example, you could essentially come to this contract and you could say, hey, I want to buy partner program. That costs $0. Okay, let's try the Tier 5 partner program. That also costs $0. All right? So what does it mean if it costs $0? it means that I haven't created any offer for that. So all you would need to do is send an email to sales@tier5.us that says, hey John, I want to buy the Tier 5 partner program, and this is what I want. I want, let's say, 10 accounts on these different softwares, and I'll give you $50 for it. If it's a good offer and I like the offer and it makes sense, I'll reply back to you and I will say, okay, I'll take that offer. I approve that offer. So use TPP 50 RJ as your product. I'll send you this back through email, and then you can just come here and you'll see how much that actually costs and you can buy it. Most likely, if you give me that offer, Raju, if you give me that offer and you say, hey, I want 10 accounts on all your software and I'm going to only pay you a one-time payment of $50, I'm 100% right now tell you I will not approve that offer. I'll email you back and I'll say, hey, sorry, I can't do that. That's a stupid, insane offer. Here's how much I could do it for. Here's what I could do for $50. And then if you like any of those offers, we'll go through email. Once we agree on the offer, I'll go in and actually add it over here, and then you can go in and buy it. So hopefully that makes sense. I want you guys to keep in mind that whatever you buy through this contract, that money is not going to me anyways. That money is actually getting sent to this contract, and all that money is getting redistributed to anybody who actually owns Mew Gold already. So one of those people does happen to be me, for sure. I already have some Mew Gold because I've already bought some because I believe in the project. So one of those people specifically, this person right here, happens to be me. So I do get the second largest portion of that money actually gets sent to me, but not all of it gets sent to me. The largest portion gets sent and is actually, this is a vesting contract. So that's actually over here, this vesting contract where it's actually locked up and nobody gets it for 6 years. And then the rest of it is sent to all of these other addresses that already are owning MewCoin. So hopefully that makes sense and that answers your question. Hey John, I might not be seeing the right screen because I'm not seeing things clearly. If you're not seeing things clearly, probably what that means is you are actually watching on Zoom, and I am actually using on Zoom, I'm actually using my streaming software, which is OBS Studio. I'm using OBS Studio as a virtual webcam, and that's what I'm actually using on Zoom. And I'm using OBS to actually record the training video that's getting uploaded to YouTube. So if you watch the training video on YouTube, it will be much more clearer because that's how I'm actually recording. And I'm just using, on Zoom, I'm just actually streaming OBS Studio. Hilton, you said, can we transfer Mew to Mug? Yes, that is the only way to get Mew Gold. So the only way you can actually get Mew Gold, if you guys haven't actually been following the project, whenever we first created MewCoin, we created a maximum supply of 100,000. We created a maximum supply of 1 million MewCoin. So there's a maximum of 1 million. There can never actually be any more whatsoever. It's a maximum of 1 million, and we paired that and created an initial liquidity pool with $25,000. So you can go in and actually look at all this. I've sent some emails out. You can see here's that liquidity pool. You could go in and actually look and see all the transactions, and you can see the very first transaction. You can see the very first transaction in this liquidity pool, what it was. The very first transaction was we put 1 million Mew coins in, and we put 25,000 USDC coins in, and we created this initial liquidity pool. So we created this initial liquidity pool. You can see what's inside there now. Now inside that liquidity pool, we went from 25,000 initial dollars to $71,000, and we went from 1 million Mew coins to 352,000 Mew coins. That's what is actually left. All right, so we created that liquidity pool, and then I started buying. So I created that liquidity pool to create the initial price floor of 1 Mew coin. And then after I created that liquidity pool, I started going in and using more money and buying Mew coin and started creating these other liquidity pools. So you have more places to actually buy Mew with other different with other different currencies, all right? And there's a reason that I did that. One of the reasons that I actually did that is because in the long road of this project, who owns all this liquidity is the Mew DAO. The Mew DAO owns everything that's in their treasury. It's a 100% protocol-owned liquidity project, and the DAO holders, which are people who essentially have Mew Gold. You need to get Mew Gold in order to participate in the Mew DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. I'll have videos about that, all right? Those people participating in the DAO, not only can they vote on the project and how things unfold and what we're actually doing in the project, they also, as you can see, based on already just this payment splitter, they also get free money. They earn rewards for being part of the actual project, and they get to participate in the revenue streams of the Mew DAO. And there's different revenue streams. One is bonding Mew Gold. So we've already bought a bunch of Mew Gold to be able to actually bond it out to people. That is a mechanism I'll explain in another video that allows us to essentially own more liquidity and own the entire liquidity protocol. So we can actually bond out Mew Gold for liquidity pool tokens. So that's something that happens. It's something I'll explain in another video. Another way is through liquidity providing fees. So if you want to actually go in and buy some Mew coin, and let's say you want to go in and buy $10 of Mew coin, you can see that there's a liquidity provider fee to be able to do that. So there's a fee of 8 cents. Where does that fee go to? Well, that fee is essentially a revenue stream for the Mew DAO that can be distributed to the participants in the actual Mew DAO. It's a way that they can actually share in the revenue of the actual project. So the reason that we created all these other different little liquidity pools, and you can go look at this one, for example, you can look at this liquidity pool and see this liquidity pool is essentially a liquidity pool between DAI stablecoin and Mew, and you can see how much liquidity is there. There's $507. There's $507 there, and if you go in and actually look at this guy, you can go in and actually see the liquidity pool, and you can see what's there. There is 1,000, is actually that thing that I showed you is not correct. There's 1,323 DAI stable coins in this liquidity pool and 6,800 Mew. And anyways, the reason that we actually did this is to create what's called arbitrage opportunities, where bots and people who are looking to make some money through arbitrage, they can find price differences between these different pools of money, and they can essentially go in and they can buy over here, and then they can go in and sell over here and realize some arbitrage profit through arbitrage. And whenever they do both those actions, when they buy over here, there's a liquidity pool fee that's generated, and when they sell over here, there's another liquidity pool fee generated. So if someone wants to buy Mew with USDT, or they want to buy Mew with AVAX, or they want to buy Mew with DAI, or they want to buy Mew with Magic Internet Money, we'll also be going in and selling bonds, and whenever we sell those bonds of Mew Gold, we'll use those to create other liquidity pools as well. So anyways, it creates more additional revenue streams for those liquidity providing fees. But you can see all this. And after we created this liquidity pool, we started going in and buying Mew directly from their liquidity pool. Remember, we put 100% of all Mew coin into this initial liquidity pool with $25,000. So 100% of all the coin, there's only 1 million. There can never be more. You can verify that in the blockchain. All 1 million coins went into this liquidity pool initially, and then we started putting more money into the pool, more dollars into the pool, and getting out Mew coin, which is why if you look here, there's now $71,000 in here versus 25, because we've been going in and buying up Mew coin and using that Mew coin that we buy to create these other liquidity pools. We created this liquidity pool here, which is the only way that you can buy Mew Gold. So we started a liquidity pool. There's only 1 million Mew Gold. There can never be more than 1 million Mew Gold. There's only 100,000 Mew Gold. There can never be more than 100,000 Mew Gold. 100,000 is the maximum. And again, we took the entire 100,000 and we paired that with 1 million or 100,000 Mew coin. So we created a 1-to-1 pair in this liquidity pool. We took the entire supply of Mew gold and 100,000 Mew coin that we bought from over here, and we created this other liquidity pool so people could go in and essentially buy Mew gold. Now there's 475,000 Mew coin inside there, and there is 34,000 Mew gold inside there, because there's been a lot of buys where Mew gold has been bought with Mew coin. The only way you can get Mew gold is with Mew coin. You need to get some Mew coin, and then you can trade your Mew coin for Mew gold. A good amount of that Mew gold is locked up in this vesting contract. And again, you can verify all this just by actually looking at this information. You can go in and see, hey, where is all this Mew gold? Right now, all this Mew gold is held by 9 addresses, and you can see one of those addresses holds over 50% of the supply. And if you look, who is that address, you can see that this address is actually, and you can again go in and verify the contract and look at all the source code if you want. It is a linear vesting schedule. It owns 50,028 Mew gold right now. It is actually this liquidity locking contract. It's this vesting contract where the liquidity is locked. Everything inside that contract is locked in a linear vesting schedule until January 1st of 2028. So that's approximately a little bit less than 6 years. So 5 years, 11 months. So half of this entire supply of Mew gold is locked off of the market for the next 6 years and can't be accessed for the next 6 years. So, and anyways, we've just been going in and making more transactions, buying more Mew coin and buying more Mew gold to give to the Mew DAO treasury. So it has things like, it has a supply of Mew gold that it can use for bonding. It has some tokens that it can use for marketing purposes and to pay bills and stuff like that. Where did we get all that? Well, we got it by the Mew DAO has actually spent money to go in and actually buy all that. So hopefully that answers your question, Hilton. Can we transfer Mew to Mew gold? Yes, that is the only way to get Mew gold. The only way you can actually get Mew gold is you can go to this liquidity contract and you can buy it from here. Buy some Mew gold. You can't buy it with anything. You can't buy it with USDC. The only thing you can buy it with is Mew coin. And if you have 1 Mew coin, you can get 0.7 Mew gold. If you want 1 Mew gold, you need 13.874 Mew coins as of this exact moment. So hopefully that makes sense and answered your question. Daniel says, I emailed my offer. Great. Again, if you want to buy anything, you can easily go in and actually look at this LTD sale. This is the first one that we're doing. You can see when this deal expires, how long you have to buy whatever you want from me for whatever price that you want. If we pop this time when it ends in here, you can see that it ends at the beginning of February next month. So you have about 12 days that you're able to buy stuff. You have about 12 days. After that 12 days, you won't be able to buy anything from this contract anymore. There will actually be a new contract that's created if you want to buy some offer with Mew gold, and that new offer will go to a different splitter. And who is in this splitter? Well, whenever I go and actually create this offer, I go in and I see, okay, hey, who is holding Mew gold right now? So everybody that's actually holding Mew gold, we just go in and actually add them to this contract, and those are the people who get all the actual free money. And the amount that they get, the proportion that they get is a ratio of how much Mew gold are they holding compared to everybody else. Again, we went in and made this video where we show you all that, and we actually deployed the mock version of those two actual contracts. So it's in the same playlist. So hopefully that makes sense. That's one of the reasons you may really want to just have some Mew Gold and hold the Mew Gold, because I already showed you that, hey, if this contract right here, if it does, 50,000 Mew Gold worth of sales, and people buy 50,000 Mew Gold, and let's say that's worth $100,000, that $100,000 goes to this contract right here, and all the people that were holding Mew Gold whenever we created this offer, they get all that money. So they just basically are getting free money just because they're already holding Mew Gold. So if you go in and actually get Mew Gold and you hold it, whenever this offer ends and we create another offer, there'll be another payment splitter that's actually created as well. And the sales for this offer are going to that new payment splitter. And if you have Mew Gold, whenever we actually create this offer, then you'll be one of the people inside this contract that can go in and actually just pull money out of this payment splitter. And we showed you that in this training video. We showed you that payment splitter. Here's that payment splitter. You can go in and verify all the code for that. And you can go in and actually look and see, hey, do I get any of this? I can just go in and look and see, hey, let's look at my address. I do. I have this many shares, so I get this portion. And you can see how much is in there, and you can go in and actually pull out your money anytime you want just by going in and using this function right here to release. Just put in your account and put in the contract address to Mew Gold. So you're just going to put in the contract address to Mew Gold, and once you do that, you can go in and pull out your money from that contract. Any other questions that you guys have that are on the live video? If you guys are watching the replay on YouTube and you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments. Anybody else have any questions? 1, 2, 3. I don't think anybody else has any questions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I really hope you learned something.